Welcome back to TT Plays. Franklin Lair here to talk about the Zander list I played at Ascent Houston. Now, full disclaimer, True Champion Gaming did a wonderful review of this list just like a week ago. It's basically the list that inspired the list I play. I think there's literally like 4 cards different, so you should go check that out. I'm not going to rehash their video. They did a great job of it. I'm just going to talk about why I chose to play it for Ascent at the last minute, and then a couple changes and a few tips that they didn't cover in their video. So again, check out True Champion Gaming. That's their beautiful image right there, and the link for them is down there. So watch that. Come back and watch this if you want to play Fire Zander. So the first thing I want to talk about is why I chose to play it. Everyone knows I was really excited to play a Wind Hero. I then got bamboozled and was playing Water Merlin. And at the last minute, I anticipated the room really being filled with a lot of level 3 heroes, whether that's Rye or Merlin, and I just wanted to get in there, get quick with an aggro deck. Heading into Ascent, I thought Wind Lorraine was going to be the best hero. I didn't see any of the spicy tech that True Champions was putting in there, but I thought she was just the most consistent. I just didn't personally enjoy playing her, but if I wanted to play a level 1 hero, I thought it was going to be Zander, and I thought it was going to be Fire Zander. And the last minute, my buddy Chang was going to play the deck. He pivoted off to Rye, and then I pivoted on to Fire Zander. So again, the reasoning behind it was a meta call. I thought that the meta was going to kind of bigger, kind of stodgier, a little bit slower, and I thought I could take advantage of that with a low to the ground, aggressive hero that could really pump damage and put a lot of pressure. Now that ended up pretty much being true. Again, I went 5-3. We ended up playing 8 rounds of fire games. I didn't get to play a water or a wind player. We got there against the Rye. We split in our Merlin matchups, and our worst matchup of the day was definitely Fire Lorraine. I think Lorraine in this particular matchup is just a little bit more resilient than we are. The extra health really matters, a little bit more explosive. So unfortunately, those were the decks that ended up taking it down. We lost 1 to a Fire Merlin 3, and then we lost to 2 Fire Lorraines. But again, I really liked the deck. I was happy with the deck, and I had a lot of fun playing it. So I did, again, want to talk about just a few inclusions in the deck. So Quicksilver Grail is quickly becoming kind of an MVP in the deck itself. Now, I know a lot of people are attached to the Grand Crusaders ring, but we basically have 2 of those, right? We're running all 3 baubles, and we're running the Bauble of Abundance. We only really use this in dire straits, but again, we have 2 ways in every game to draw a card, right? Bauble of your choice plus Bauble of Abundance. So Quicksilver Grail grants us a lot of flexibility. I heard people using it to protect the Poison Dagger, and basically that's going to be in end step. I'm going to pull out the Poison Dagger from the Quicksilver Grail, and that is definitely a way to protect it. We'd go to your turn, we'd untap rating the thing, and then we can use it. I think the way that I like to use it a little bit more is honestly with the Assassin's Ripper. And the reason being, the Assassin Ripper is usually a turn where I'm trying to just pump a whole lot of damage. I'm just trying to like maximize my turns here, and I can basically cheat, and the resource cost I'm paying here doesn't really impact me. And it might be easier if we jump over to TTS and I can kind of show you what's going on here in TTS. So in this make-believe TTS game I've got here, obviously things are going really well. I've got a Dagger, I've got a Guildie, I've got an Arthur on board. We were ready. I have 6 cards down. I'm just going to flip these over actually so we can see them. But this is what's going to be my hand here. So we have a couple options here, right? So the first thing we could do, because I want the Dagger, right? So I could materialize the Dagger just out of the deck. Okay. Right? Everyone knows I could do that. It's going to cost me 1 of these cards down here. And that's fine, but it's going to mess up my turn a little bit because ideally in my turn, I would like to spend 3 to Rending Flame. And then, right, I would also like to use the card I draw to send this Planted Explosive, right? So card I draw is going to go here. I'd like to Planted Explosive. Here, I'd like to Rending Flame. We could also go with the Blazing Throw line, but whatever we want to do out of the thing. So if I manifest this dagger now, materialize, this dagger now, it's going to cost me 1 of these cards, right? So let's grab the Quicksilver Grail instead. ETB trigger, let's stick the dagger under it. We don't actually have to flip it over. We're going to draw a card for turn. And the first thing we do is we can play Rending Flames. 1, 2, I know it's more damage to keep the Blazing Throw, but we're ignoring the Blazing Throw for now. 1, 2, 3, Rending Flame. And then on the Quicksilver Grail, right, we're going to hold priority here, pop the Quicksilver Grail to get the dagger in play. We're going to lose 1 of these cards down here. I don't care which one because I don't anticipate this game going to another round, right? We'll dink them there. We'll dig the 3-outer bin here, right? The Rending Flames will swing in here, right? And that's going to come in for 3. We're going to remove this prep counter over here, 6. doubled up to 12. That's 13 damage off of this. That allows us to keep this up to run the planted explosives out or to play the clumsy, kind of whichever way we want to do it there. The other trick you can use for this using the Assassin's Ripper is to balance Gildy, right? Gildy has become a house, right? I think Caben said she went from like a $2 card to a $15 card in the Fractured Crown meta. Being able to hit balance is a phenomenal thing, right? Obviously, we know about keeping baubles up, but the Grail allows us to sneak something out which will take one from memory, which could help us in keeping the Gildy balance. But the biggest thing I like to use it for is using it for the Assassin's Ripper, like I just showed you. And the card that we're getting rid of here, if we do it in the material phase, we can't use that resource. On the turn, we're going for the big kill. But by doing it off the dagger, or excuse me, off the Quicksilver Grail instead, right? I don't care that I don't have that resource next turn because that turn's not going to exist. It allows me to pump that Rending Flame damage in for as much as possible in this round. Now, if this was actually my hand, right, we'd Poison Dagger first, we'd probe with Arthur, make sure they're not last resorting us, right? Then we'd come in with Gildy and the Courier here. There's really no way to balance Gildy, which the way I just showed you. Right, so maybe you would rather do another route, but I still think this is probably the most amount of damage we're going to push here. So again, Quicksilver, hiding the Ripper, that one materialization cost we're going to use on the cards that we put down on the turn we're going for a kill. So these cards we're never going to see again, and it just lets us be more efficient with our hand. So again, the Quicksilver Dagger has the Quicksilver Grail has really been an MVP there. Again, grabbing the Assassin's Ripper for me in most of the games I end up running things out there. Obviously, you can do like the normal things that you do with one, right? You can grab a Nullifying Lantern or a Tithe Proclamation. The advantage of the Nullifying Lantern is we can still manipulate from our graveyard, but as soon as our opponent plays a Rending Flame, right, we can crack that Quicksilver Grail and put it out there. But again, I just really wanted to highlight that Assassin's Ripper line to talk about kind of dropping the thing down. Now, the other line I want to say is when you go first, I call it turn 0. I think the community in general calls it turn 1. Sorry, that's a Flesh and Blood term I'm still holding on to. The Shieldmate, I love to just honestly cremate him right away. We just play it out there. We cremate it. I get a float in my bin. I get a fire in my bin. I draw my cards back up. I have stuff to level up, right? The ideal turn 0 play is an Immortal Arthur. If I don't have that, I'm happy to just blow up the Shieldmate. And that's one of the reasons my deck went up to 2 Shieldmates. The Shieldmate's also just a great model in general to run out there in turn 1, just kind of eat an attack. But again, if I can blow them up, I could. If I was to run this list again, I would up the Gawains. I had 2 main, one on my sideboard. I'd want to find a way to get 3 main somehow. I also want 1 more of either Rending Flames or Blazing Throw. Half the games I won came by using one of these cards. They're just really powerful cards. I would like to find just, again, 1 more spot for them. It might be cutting 1 Cremation Ritual. It might be cutting 1 Creative Shock. It might be cutting the Clumsy. But I would really just like, for right now I'm running 2 of each. I would like some combination of 5, whether that's 3 and 2 or 2 or 3. I just want 1 more of that. So I would want 1 more Gawain. I want 1 more of either Rending Flames or Blazing Throw. But otherwise, I thought the deck was great. The games we lost to Merlin, some of them were close, some of them were blowouts. That's just the nature of it. Lorraine definitely kind of bullied us. I think in general, the odds of me playing 3 Fire Lorraines is pretty low, but it happened. I would honestly just run the deck back again, and I think it was pretty good. So, again, the reason I played it was I was hoping to get in underneath kind of those big, tall, stodgy heroes, those silly level 3 heroes, punish them for the hubris of trying to level up. We're trying to beat them quick and early. We're trying to be super efficient with our early and try to end it right as the mid-game. Quicksilver Grail, you can do a lot of tricks with it. We can use it for the Nullifying Lantern, so we can still benefit from our graveyard when we need to. We can also use it to pull out that Assassin's Ripper basically for free. On the turn, we're going for a kill. We can also do some cute things with the Grail to balance out Gildy if we need to. And that kind of wraps up everything I had to talk about here. Again, True Champions Gaming did a really in-depth video there. Go watch their video. Come back here. There's a couple more tips here. Those are the changes I would make to the list. My list is just a little bit different than theirs anyway. You'll have links to this list down in the deck notes below. So I hope you found it helpful. I hope if you check out Fire Zander, you enjoy them. I really wish, I still call it Zander Tristan. Truth be told, I never played Tristan in all my games. She honestly probably needs to come out of the sideboard. I love Tristan. I just don't think this is the deck for her. Leveling up to level 2 is just really expensive. And I do think that's one of the mistakes I see early Zander players making is they kind of rush Zander out there. I won plenty of games as Spirit of Fire. Because as long as I'm applying pressure and I don't need that class bonus, I don't need to level to Zander, right? I'm leveling to Zander when I need to wake up the Poison Dagger, when I need to wake up some other class ability like Rending Flame. Or, to be frank, I just need the hit points. But I would love to stay Spirit of Fire and just like manifest things to continuously apply pressure as long as I possibly can. So I hope you found this additional deck tech helpful. Again, be sure to go check out True Champion Gaming's. Congratulate them on their incredible run. Watch their video on it. Come back here, a couple Quicksilver Grail tricks. My deck list that I ended up running at Houston Ascent. And one thing I do want to say in closing is I know I had a lot of things I didn't love or hope they improve at Ascent, but I really did love it. I would probably rate it like an 8 out of 10 for conventions I've gone to. I played in the Pro Tour, for Magic for a long time. I've gone to a couple of competitive Flesh and Blood events. I thought it was really well done. I just thought there were those little things along the way that they could do to make it better, and I know that they will. So I was really impressed with it, especially for their first outing. Again, I am looking forward to the Ascent up in Ontario. So until next time, everyone, cheers and happy gaming.